Hello students, welcome to SPL study. Today we will see a pattern which is a square pattern. That is a square whose sides are same. Right, a square whose sides are same. Hence, if here suppose it this is 5 centimeter, this is 5 centimeter, this is 5 centimeter, this is 5 centimeter. So you can see that the both the length and breadth both are 5 centimeter. Okay. So now here in this program, what we see that there are 5 rows, 3, 4 and 5, and there are 5 columns, 3, 4 and 5. Therefore, and we always take this row as I, and we always take this column as J for our simplicity. So now let's begin the program so that we can understand the pattern, how the pattern came. So class pattern, and then void main, then int I and j, declaration of these two variable, and then we have for loop. So this is the outer for loop, and this is the inner for loop. Okay, so for I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5, I plus plus. So initializing I as 1, and now we have I, that is whether we have to check that whether I is less than equals to 5 or not. Yes, condition matches, and now if condition matches comes down, then it finds another for loop, that is the inner for loop, that's j equals to 1, that is j is equals to 1. Okay, then j checks with 5, j 1 less than equals to 5, yes, then comes down and see system.out.print j is 1, hence it prints 1. Printing of 1 done. Now before the ending of loop, it again goes to the incrementation part. Okay, so j is now 2, since it is increased by 1, now j is 2, and now the condition checks happens, that is 2 less than equals to 5, yes, condition matches, comes down, prints j is what, 2, hence prints 2. Like this it will increase, 3 checks with 5, done, comes down, prints 3. Like this 4 and 5. After printing 5, if it increases by 1, now it is 6 checks with 5, no, here condition fails to match. Now what happens? If condition fails to match, then for loop ends here, and now what it says, inner for loop completes, done, and now it says system.out.println, just println, that is next line, the cursor goes to the next line for printing the another series, right? So now before the ending, again it goes to the incrementation part. I is increased by now 1, that is I's value is 2. 2 checks with 5, comes down, sees a new fresh loop, that is for loop, the inner for loop. Now j, again the initialization of j, since it is a fresh loop, initialization j happens from 1 checks with 5, condition matches, comes down, prints the value of j is 1, that is a 1 prints, and now it also increases, j becomes 2 condition checks, 2 less than equals to 5 and prints 2, again 3 prints 3, 4 and we have 5. Then when the condition fails to match, comes down to the another line, like this I is now increased by 1, that is I is 3, like this, that is we have 3 rows, and now we have 3, 4, 5 and then 1 2 3 4 5 also gets printed, and the fifth 1 2 3 4 5. And now this fifth row, after printing this fifth row, you see i's value is now 5, and when I value is increased by 1, that is 6, condition doesn't matches here, condition fails to match here. Hence, since 6 is not less than equals to 5, it's not, hence the outer for loop ends, and we have class ending done. The program is complete. So what we see here, that every time the value of I for 1, the value of j is printed to 1 to 5. For another value of I2, j is printed from 1 to 5. That is for the second row, like this, third row, fourth row and fifth row. Here you can see I is also running to 5 and j is also running up to 5. See the conditions. Previous, if you have seen the lecture number, this pattern, we are studying this pattern series, the Java program based on pattern. If you have seen lecture number 1 and 2, you can understand that very well. There we have been depending, means I and j both are depending on each other. There is a dependence, but here it doesn't depend on I and j, because I and j both are running up to 5th position. Okay, for I the position is changing as row, and for j the position is changing as column. Okay, so again, if we want to print this square pattern, but if the number changes here, means if our pattern is like this, then what and how we can write a program so that we can print this kind of pattern. See, we have every same number in the row. See, that is, for this row the value of I is 1, and the value of j for column is also 1 1 1. Means I and j both are same, means for first row column must be printed as 1 1 1. Means here the printing style will be changed, because the printing is, there is a printing of the value of I itself, because for the first row we have j, in every places we have 1. So what we can do in this program so that this kind of pattern gets printed? So if we change this printing statement, that is, if we place here I, then can you see that whether this program is correct or not if we place I for this kind of pattern? Let's check. So for I equals to 1, I less than equals to 5, done, fine, comes down, prints. Oh no, there is no print. Then we have another fresh for loop, and then j is equals to 1, j is initialized as 1, then j checks with 5, yes, done, complete, comes down, prints the value of I, not j. Since I is always 1, for this inner loop will end till the ending of this inner loop. I is always 1. You can see here also that j is 1. Okay, j checks with 5, done, comes down, prints the value of I is 1. 1 gets printed. Okay, and now this I is increased, this j is increased by 1, that is 2. J is now 2. 2 checks with 5, done, comes down, prints the value of I, not j. I is what? Again 1, because the for 1 this is happening. Okay, for I is 1 this is happening. Again 1 prints. And now again j increases by 1, that is 3. 3 checks with 5, comes down, prints the value of I. Okay, I is again 1. So here this 1 will get printed for the first row. And then if now j is 6, j was 5 increased by 1, now j is 6. 6 for this condition doesn't matches, the inner loop ends, and for the next system dot print ln for the next line. And now I is increased by 1, that is I is now 2. So and now this condition check is done, 2 less than equals to 5, done, yes, fine. Comes down, a fresh loop starts with j equals to again 1. J is equals to again 1. Then 1 checks, condition matches, done, prints the value of I is now 2. So for every 2, for every second row, 2 will get printed, because this will run up to 5 times. So 2 is printed up to 5 times. Okay, loop ends like this. I is increased by 3. This now we have this pattern complete. Then 5 5 5, and when I is 6, this outer loop fails, it ends, and then we have this full program. So I hope you all understand this very well. So if you like this video, and one thing I want to give you a SW, that previous lecture, if you have watched the lecture number from 1 to, if you have watched the lecture 1 to 3, okay, if you have watched these pattern lectures, then you should have been doing this kind of pattern. Okay, let's do this. This is a HW, a inverted right angle triangle. Okay, so let's do this as HW. Comment me, or if you fail to do this, I will help you. Hence for this now, let's the class ends. So take care, bye, and share among with your friends. And if you like the video, just hit a like button, and tada.